talk about seek first to understand and then be understood. So they have the, I think, quote under this big title say the heart, its reason, the reasons know not of, from Pascal. What does that mean? The heart has its reason. What is heart? It's our heart, it's our spirit inside of us, that right? God put all his glorious image inside our spirit. So our spirit is different from our brain. Our brains have a reason. Our brains always think of something rationally. Always collect the knowledge, make the judgment, do a lot of things. That belong to the world and on earth. But the heart, the spirit belongs to God. God control our heart. God give us a conscience. So a lot of times we have to do something for God out of conscience. That's the reason. There's a reason for heart to move us to do something. A lot of time, the instruction, the prompt from the Holy Spirit, from God, does not necessarily comply with whatever we learn from our brain about this world. Like eyes to eye, teeth for teeth, kick for kick. It's obvious what this word teaching us. But however, Jesus told us to love people and to tolerate everything, to make peace. So the heart has its reason. And the reason, when you use your brain, trying to think rationally, doesn't make sense. That right? Our brain doesn't know. So, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Making peace. We're supposed to be eyes to eyes, teeth for teeth, and kick for kick. But that's why heart has its reason from God. And that reason from all the world know nothing of it. So that's hard part about us is we need to follow our spirit, we need to follow our heart, and we cannot follow the world. Okay? So let's go through it. Like last time we talked about, blessed are the peacemaker, for they will be called children of God. And God taught to us. How God taught to us? The world taught to us, that God taught to us. Here is from the Bible, James chapter 3. But if you harbor bitter envy and the selfish ambition, three bad things, okay, you can always evaluate yourself. Do you have these three things in your heart? Bitter, envy, and the selfish ambition in your heart. Do not boast about it or deny the truth. Such wisdom, so-called wisdom, does not come down from heaven, but it's earthly and spiritual and demonic. That means from Satan. So think about it. All the Hamas leaders, what do they have in their mind? Bitter, envy, selfish ambition. Guess what do? They lead all the people suffer. Millions of people lose their house. So this is from Satan. Okay. Or where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice. Is that exactly what happened in the Middle East for the Gaza Strip? They have envy, they have selfish ambition. There you find what? Disorder and every evil practice. Killing the people, killing the people, killing the people. However, the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all what? Pure. Like child. Pure in heart. Then peace loving, love peace. Considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. This is how God works in our heart. Give the wisdom from heaven. The peacemaker who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness. Harvest of righteousness means we create, resolve, we accomplish something God is very happy with. God is very pleased. This is called righteousness. Whatever we do, meet God's expectation, meet God's standard, meet God's criteria. That's called righteousness. Yeah, righteousness. So peacemaker who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness. So this such important sentence, okay, important verses from the James chapter 3. You can read through it, and you should remember it for the rest of your life, because that gives you the standard criteria to judge. Are you doing something according to Satan, or you are doing something according to God's expectation? Okay. And Steve Covey, who wrote the book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, a very, very smart people, very, very wise person. What did he say? Satisfy need, do not motivate. It's only the unsatisfied need that motivates. That's very good. If I already have something, how can you motivate me? No, you cannot. I want the money, but I already have the money. The money doesn't motivate me. It's only unsatisfied need that motivates. I really have some need. It's not satisfied. That motivates me to work hard, to go after it. So next to physical survival, of course, we have to survive as a body, as a physical person, okay? The greatest need of a human being is psychological survival. Psychological actually is a human term. The real word should be spiritual. Spiritual from God give us an intuitive understanding what we need to be, okay? What's the God's expectation out of you and me? I call psychological survival. It's actually spiritual expectation from God to be understood, to be affirmed, to be validated, to be appreciated. Okay, so this is really what motivates us to be understood, to be affirmed, to be validated, to be appreciated. And this is from the Bible. My dear brother and sister, take note of this. Oh, the Bible say this. This is very important. Okay, everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. It's again from James. I love James, book of James. Very, very wise book. Okay. So, hey, quick to listen. That means the first thing to think about it is not to speak. It's not to get angry. It's to listen, just to listen. That's the first thing you have to do all the time. Whenever you get into the argument, you get into the discussion, you get into the any communication, chat around, you play the video game, you're connecting with the people. The first thing, listen, listen, listen. Don't just try to speak. Don't just try to become angry. It's not easy. Okay, it's not easy, but that's why Bible tells us. If something's easy, Bible don't need to tell us. Okay, it's something intuitive to us. Bible doesn't need to tell us. But it's something very hard for us to accomplish, to achieve, and God will tell us. Okay, quick to listen. First thing, listen, listen, listen. Always listen. Okay. It's a story in the book. So this guy is going to the ophthalmologist, to optometrist, to get a pair of glasses. And the doctor said, okay, just try my glasses. They work great for me. And then, of course, the patient say, no, it doesn't work for me. But doctor keeps saying, yeah, you can try. How come it doesn't work for you? It worked for me very well. See, the bottom line, you don't prescribe before you diagnose. You have your understanding, I have my understanding. You cannot just tell people, say, oh, you should do this, you should do that, without even understanding what do they want. So you don't prescribe before you diagnose. So many times when we talk to people, we really don't try to understand the people. We try to put down the judgment, put down the advice, before we really try to understand what the other side really need, really want. Okay, and this, most of them, I think this is a mistake happened to almost all the people. Even on myself today, as a 72 years old person, I still have trouble. to be patient, and to be humble, and to pay attention to what other people's need. So you can think about the Middle East crisis. That's what happened. People make decisions, what is justice, and people take action to make sure justice happens. And guess what? Everybody they love gets suffered. A lot of relatives, a lot of their relatives get killed. It's all because what? Because they don't listen. They don't understand. They don't try to make peace. Okay. In fact, that only 10% of our communication is represented by the words we say. You'd be surprised at that. What are you talking about? I'm talking all the time. No, it's only 10% communication is represented by the words we say. Another 30% is represented by our sound, and 6% by our body language. It's very important. If you don't see me talk, you only hear me, you only get 40% of my word. If I say something with no tone change, just very flat, always, la, 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 you don't know what I'm communicating because you only get 10% of my communication. But because I have an up, a down, quiet, and excited, then you can understand 40%. But if you don't see my body language, you don't get 100% of what I'm trying to say, who I am, how do I feel. So this is very important to understand, okay? Keep it in your mind. This is what real communication is. So when you're listening, and not only listen to the world, and not only listen to the home, but you listen to the behavior, the body language. Most people do not listen with intent to understand, and listen with intent to reply. They're either speaking or preparing to speak. This most of the time, you and me. They're filtering everything through their own paradigm. We understand paradigm, our mindset, okay? The way we look at things, the framework, our value system. So we filter everything through our own framework, the value system. And reading their autobiography into other people's life. We're just trying to tell them, hey, I'm Ming, who I am, what my experience, what I know, what I don't know. It's all from my paradigm, all from my autobiography. I'm trying to reading my autobiography into other people's life. That's most time when the communication happens. So most people do not listen with intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. They're either speaking or preparing to speak. They're filtering everything through their own paradigm, reading their autobiography into other people's lives. So responsive mindset, autobiographical listening, this most of the time, especially for the older people, because older people have a lot more past experience with them. So they like to have their autobiography to the other people. We evaluate, we agree or disagree. We're not objective, say, hey, listen to what's going on. So we agree, disagree. We're probing. We're asking questions from our own frame of reference. In a minute, based on my understanding, my ethnic background, my education background, my experience, my family background, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you fitting in my framework at all or not? This is called probing. And giving advice immediately after go through evaluating, probing, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, because based on my experience, this is that. Based on my Christian background, you have to do that. So we start giving advice. Then we do the interpretation. Try to figure out their motive based on our own motive. And this is really interesting, Nara. We're trying to, oh, wait a minute, why do you really say that? Based on my understanding, my motive trying to do this, so you must be doing that. So everything is pretty much from a self-centered paradigm, from a self-centered value system, from a self-centered mindset. So their communication going on? Not really. because pretty much it's one way, okay, self-centered system going on. So this is the responsible mindset, autobiographical listening, evaluating, probing, giving advice, interpretation. You can say this actually from everybody because everybody has simple nature. One of the most important factors of the simple nature is we're self-centered. We think we are the world. We are the center of the world. We are the gravity center of the whole world. And that's where the problem happens most of the time in this world. So I'd like to have a teacher Elaine. We're very glad teacher Elaine come back and give us some comment.
Yeah, thank you, Teacher Ming. This is so important to learn how to communicate. It's one of my favorite subjects. That we tend to communicate from our own perspective. And what's very powerful is that when we communicate, it's supposed to be at least two-way. And that's where Teacher Ming is going to take us next. And did you notice that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for the reason of at least listening twice as much as our speaking? And as we learn about seek to understand, it's very powerful when we actually respect and care about the person and listen from their perspective instead of just this autobiographical listening. It's really good advice and reminder that we truly listen with our, not just the ears, but with our eyes, with our mouth, and with our heart to feel what they're saying, and then asking a good question to understand them. So I love the active listening, which isn't just passive listening, which is the opposite, right? Active listening is as we're listening to Teacher Ming, like Ryan turned on his camera, that we are nodding, we are responding, oh, what a good idea. And I'm doing active listening now based on what I heard from Teacher Ming to reflect on what Teacher Ming said. And how Teacher Ming wants us to truly learn how to seek and to understand as we communicate with people is understanding their message, understanding the feeling, and actively responding and go deeper to build a relationship with them. So I think it's a good reminder for us. Thank you, Teacher Ming.
All right, thank you for teacher Elaine. So what is a deep listening? Okay, we talk about the wrong way to listen. And the deep listening causes 6 levels of listening. Most of the time, we're on the top 3. We ignore it. Basically, whenever somebody talks, I'm thinking about my own things. It's really interesting there because it's simple nature. Even somebody is talking, but I'm still thinking about my own things. Oh, wait a minute, I haven't done this yet. I want to do that yet. Well, this guy really know what he's talking about? We're ignoring. We're just ignoring them. Okay. So a lot of time we miss a chance to learn. We're just writing our own autobiography one more time. Okay. It's a really waste of the most precious thing God gives to us is our time. And other people is the gift, other people's talent. So ignoring is one of the worst things. Hey, I myself is one of the worst. Okay. I don't know why. Okay. I just always lack of attention and ignoring or the other people's talking and pretend listening. Because ignoring the people is not very good, so you pretend listening. So you catch a few words. Say, oh, what is he talking about? Yeah, maybe I need to pick up a few words. You pretend listening. The third thing is selective listening. I only listen what I like to listen. Whatever doesn't fit in my value system and doesn't fit in my paradigm, doesn't fit my interest in, I just don't listen. I just ignore. I pass through without remembering nothing. Okay. This is called selective listening. However, for active listening, the first thing you're attentive, you do pay attention. You keep reminding me, oh, wait a minute, what I should learn from him. It's more like you're gonna write a report. Okay. after you listen to somebody talk, or give you an example. If I tell you, hey, I'm going to give you a next 30 minutes talk, and everybody can write a report, I'll give you $1,000. Whoever write the most of the report, right. I tell you, you will pay a lot of attention to this. Am I right? Because there's a goal for you. So you need to have a goal. But every time you listen to somebody, that's attentive listening. And the value he's going to give to you, the value of the talk is going to give to you more than $1,000, maybe more than $10,000, maybe more than $1 million. You don't know. Sometimes in your future life, you're going to use it. Okay, it's called attentive listening. You have a goal. You need to know there's a value for you. Empathic listening, of course, you put yourself in his shoe, her shoe, really trying to understand what he's going through. Okay, if he's crying, you cannot just, oh, aesthetic. Oh, he must feel bad. No, no, no. You have to put yourself in his shoes. Why he feels so bad? Okay, that's called empathy. And the spirit, a totally different story. That spirit is our life, according to Jesus. So you really have to understand what's been going through his life, what is in his thinking, in his spirit, in his heart, what did he really experience now? Okay, and that's active listening. So you have a 6 level of listening. First 3 level, you can see it probably take up 60% of the area of this triangle, because most of you and me are doomed. Okay, so keep going down. We spend much less effort to do that part. So this is why important. Okay, what is a deep listening, attentive listening, empathic listening, and the spiritual listening? Heart to heart, trying to understand each other's heart to heart. Okay, so that's why I call the resonance between 2 hearts, because God is controlling our spirit.
Amen. And Teacher Ming, on the empathy, listening with empathy, it's very powerful. And I just taught this last night for some seminary students, that we encourage everyone to practice by naming the emotion of how people feel. And we have more tools that Teacher Ming is sharing with us. It's, for example, your parents come home from work and say, oh, Dad, it must be a tiring and long day for you, and you can rest. You put a name to their feeling and their emotion. That goes a long way with empathetic listening.
Thank you. So here is the benefit of empathic listening. The first thing, empathic listening builds trust. Because you show empathy. Empathy is spiritual quality, okay? Empathy is spiritual quality, okay? So have to from God, have to from our heart. So empathic listening builds trust. So somebody you staying quiet and your eyes is focusing on him and paying attention to him, and your face respond to every word he say. You feel sad, you feel peaceful, you feel joyful for him. So you're resonating with his heart by your feeling and by your expression. So empathic listening builds trust. So he knows that, oh, you're the person I can trust because you accept me, you listen to me, you're willing to understand me. The second is empathic listening improve problem solving. Like we say, you don't prescribe before diagnose. So you have to understand what the problem is. Then you start thinking about a solution. A lot of time we listen, we come up with a solution first before they even tell us what the problem. Am I right? And that's our problem. That's our problem. If you want to solve the problem, you have to understand what's going on. Okay. And empathic listening help you make better decisions. Of course, if you don't understand the whole big picture, you jump to the conclusion. Most probably you're making a mistake. Guess what? You're wasting your time. You're hurting the people's relationship. You're hurting your own accomplish more achievement in the future. Empathic listening increases team coherence, as for sure. The leader pay attention to everybody talk and pay attention to everybody's feeling to understand what's in their heart. Remember, leaders don't lead brain. Leaders lead people's heart. Okay. So when you have empathic listening, you listen to their heart, you touch their heart, of course, the whole team bonded together under your leadership. So this session, this year's camp is focused on building the leadership with a spiritual mature life. Right? So empathic listening increase team coherence. You need to start practice that now. Okay. It works very well. Like give you an example. And the teacher give you a project consists of 4 or 5 people. Let's face it, it's hard to come up with leader, lead this group, that right? So if you're the one have empathic listening and you pay attention to everybody else say, and then at the end of the discussion, nobody take leadership, you suddenly can start talking. Okay, here. If you don't mind, let me tell you what's my conclusion. Okay, Peter, the way I can understand, you're very talented in creative thinking. Paul, if I understand, you're very good at analyzing the detail. Oh, Mary, you're very good with a mathematical background. Oh, John, you definitely is a hands-on person. So I think with this project, I will suggest we divide the assignment like this. Guess what happened? Everybody probably jumped to tears. Well, you know me. You know exactly how can I contribute for this project? And because your leadership, because your empathic listening, everybody's happy. Everybody's talent is utilized. Guess what? You're the leader. Probably you don't have to do much. The project is the best in the whole class. And we had this experience before in our 700 leadership teams. We have this one college student. He's a master's degree. He practiced our teaching. His project the best, and he didn't do much. He just lead the whole team. Okay, that's so important. And empathic listening boosts employee well-being because you're helping the people. Then everybody like it. Everybody benefit from it. And you can do a lot of things to help them on. Empathic listening increases productivity because everybody is motivated. Everybody is appreciated. Everybody excited. Our leader, listen to me. Listen to my opinion. Understand me. Of course, the whole team work together with productivity improvement. The empathic listening improves customer service. Of course, you want to sell the product to the customers, like Steve Covey said. You sell the product, you don't sell product. You sell the need. You sell customers' needs. Okay, you don't sell the product. You sell the customer's need. If the customer doesn't need a hammer, he needs a saw. They keep telling me, oh, this hammer is the best hammer in the whole world. You say, so? I don't need a hammer. I want to cut the wood. You cannot tell them, oh, you can use a hammer to knock the wood out. No, you cannot do that. So empathic listening improves customer service. You want to sell a product to customer, you understand what they need. But if you don't listen to what they need, you cannot sell the product they need. So you'll be one of the worst salesmen in your company. And you probably couldn't make good living at all. The empathic listening can diffuse a complex situation. Am I right? Just like Israel and Hamas and the Palestinian people, they don't listen to each other. They don't listen to each other's needs. They don't listen to each other's, the daily living requirement. Okay, they don't listen. And they're trying to rip off each other and trying to kill each other. And then think about the conflict is so bad. But if you just start listening, okay, like Israel people, Israeli government trying to build a settlement, they have to think about what happened to other people. They get driven out. Should I build a high-rise building to accommodate them? to make them a better living standard, maybe you solve the problem. You build your settlement, they're very happy, have a better living standard. Okay. Then the conflict get diffused. So empathic listening can diffuse a conflict situation. I think the teacher Elaine can probably definitely add some comment around this PowerPoint.
Yeah, empathy is so powerful. I was teaching last night. We know these three English words that are similar. Apathy. I don't care how you feel. I'm sure we don't do that to people we love or anyone. Apathy. I don't care how you feel. Sympathy. I feel sorry for how you feel. I don't think you want to get people's sympathy and that people feel sorry for you. What we really need is empathy that Teacher Ming is teaching us, that it's I feel how you feel. So in all of these benefit, it's because that we are feeling the need, feeling the emotions, identifying with what they're thinking, and putting yourself in their position, thinking from their perspective. And I really hope that we practice empathy starting from our home with each other in the family. Like I said earlier, think of an emotion word that describe how they feel. And that goes a long way because you didn't just listen to them, you feel what they feel and you say how they feel. For example, coming home from school, your parent can say, wow, you look so happy. Something good must have happened. What happened? So that's an opening in terms of seeing how you're happy and giving a name to your emotion. So let's start practicing that at home. Feeling how your family member feel and giving a name to the feeling, and then continue the conversation to seek to understand. Thank you, Teacher Ming.
Very good. Actually, this reminds me, because let's face it, you're a teenager, and the most important communication and the listening skill is to be with your parents. It's a both way. Parents have to listen to their kids, and you have to listen to your parents. But guess what happened? We all have problems about this one. Validating, probing, giving advice, interpretation. The parent do that to you, and you probably do that to your parent. Because you're a teenager, you probably do less to your parent. Because parents are mature and they're busy, they're probably doing more to you. So in order to reset this whole process, you have to learn from this lesson and discuss with your parent. And sometimes you have to remind your parents, Mom, please listen to me so I can tell you what is my problem. And then you can tell me what is my problem. Or you can give me advice, how do I fix my problem? I really want to listen to your advice. Please listen to my situation now. I want to really 100% open to you. Then suddenly, guess what? Your relationship with the parents is getting much better. Okay. But however, not necessarily all parents understand this so-called deep listening. I would have to say most of the parents I don't understand this, okay? Because I myself is one of the examples. So you just have to start communicating with your parents and just say, Mom, Dad, be patient. Please listen to me. See whether you can understand my problem. Whenever your mom trying to say something to Robert, say, Mom, please let me complete my story. So you have to start with something like that. Very patient, very humble, very peaceful, very calm to control the whole situation. And then your relationship with your parent will getting better and better every day. Okay?
So
we all
Teacher
need to
Ming,
learn
an
from it.
idea from today's homework will be to share with your family
Oh, that'd be good.
what you learned today. And instead of when something happened, trying to react to it, we can be proactive. learning together from what teacher Ming shared with us. Wow, Dad, take a picture of this or watch the video again. Take a picture. Let's understand each one
take
of
a
these
picture of these two,
Yeah,
these
yeah,
two, and discuss with your parent as a homework,
yeah,
and
yeah.
see what the response from your parents. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
These two. Go ahead, take a picture of this one also.
Yeah, and then discuss what each level means and how we practice listening in our family. Which
And you
level
can
are
take this
we
one also.
doing?
Yeah, take this one also because well, and I think every PowerPoint are very valuable. Okay, but that's why you have to go back to YouTube to go ahead and review it. Again,
start with these three and then discuss, especially the 6 levels, and understand from the family, how do we think we usually communicate and how can we improve from one level to another? And what are some ways that we can achieve deeper listening?
Yeah, your whole family relations will improve so much.
Yes.
Because you stay calm, you stay peaceful, and you stay patient. Okay, whenever you get emotional, you already lose the whole situation.
Yes.
Okay. So empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and the feeling with the heart of another. Very important, okay. Of another, not yourself. Seeing with the eyes of another, okay. It's not seeing your eyes. Listening, not your ears, with the ear of another. And feeling with the heart of another, okay. In empathic listening, you listen not only with ear, but also more importantly, listen with your eyes and with your heart. You listen for feeling, for meaning. You listen for behavior. You use your right brain as well as your left. You sense, you intuit, you feel. So you have to open yourself up to be influenced. That means I want him to influence me. I want him to touch my heart so I can really understand it. So this is why we say, you listen with the 10% of words, 30% of the sound and the tone. The other 60% is the behavior. Because behavior, expression of heart, of brain, of everything. So empathic listening with your eye, with your heart, with your ears, the feeling, the meaning, the behavior. You see your right brain, you use your right brain as well as your left. You sense, you intuit, you feel. You have to open yourself up to be influenced. The real key to your influence with me is your example, your actual conduct. The example flow naturally out of your character, of the kind of person you truly are. Not that other persons say you are, or what you may want me to think you are. It is evident in how I actually experience you. It's a long sentence, okay. But the bottom line is, if you want to influence me, you have to be a good role model for me. You have to show how do you behave, how do you talk, how do you trust people, how do you touch people's heart. So if you have a character, you have integrity, this is how I experience you, this is the way you influence me. Of course, this is a positive influence. There's a negative influence also, Lara. If you start cussing like crazy and get emotional, all this, sometimes like a parent do the kids, guess what? Kids learn how to get emotional, how to speak loud, how to shout, how to get angry. So that's bad influence. So this trying to say your life influenced me. Whatever the maturity level of your life is, I get influenced by that. It can be a low maturity or high maturity. Okay. So your character is constantly radiating, communicating. From it, in the long run, I come to instinctively trust or discharge your effort with me. The character is the bottom line. Character is the bottom line. That's why 60% of the communication through the behavior and through the expression, presentation of your character. If a person have no character, getting mad, getting emotional easily, ignoring people most of the time, people is not going to like you, people are not going to learn from you. Okay, so this is why it's so important. You start learning this. Okay, it's all about your character. So this is a very good code. Okay, maturity is not when we start speaking big things. Okay, it's when we start understanding small things. When we talk with somebody, don't try to give them like a big talk or who I am, what I've accomplished, what I've done, what I understand, why I'm so good, why I'm so smart. I did this, I got this honor, I got this credit. No. Mature life is not talk about big things. It's when you start understand small things. Oh, what happened to you? I'm sorry. Let me try to understand what kind of help do you need. And you take action to help them. And this is the maturity of life. So maturity life is everything about spiritual. It's everything about what you learn from Jesus and what you learn from Bible. Because only Jesus and the Bible's teaching is spiritual. Everything else is earthly, it's knowledge, but it's not spiritual life. Okay. So it is all about maturity of life. It is all about character with integrity, love, and selflessness. If we live for God's glory, then we live for everyone else instead of ourselves. Think about it. If you want to have empathy, that means you put yourself in other people's shoes. You see with their eyes, you listen with their ears, you feel with their heart. That means you don't exist. It's not about you, it's all about other people. It's how can you do that? It's very hard to do that. If only you live for God only, and God's love cover everybody. So if you live for God's only, the Holy Spirit will give you the maturity and give the life to think about others all the time and none about yourself. Okay, this is so important. That's why servant leadership is all about. You serve, Jesus said, you serve other people so you can be the greatest. You serve other people, you don't have yourself. You humble yourself to serve other people, and other people will benefit from your service. And then you're the leader. Then they trust you. Then you actually exist. Because you deny yourself, you humble yourself, help other people, you actually become the greatest one. And that's what Jesus teaches. Am I right? So the only way you're not a selfish person, you have empathy for others, is because you use Jesus as a role model, and Jesus' life is in you, and you live for God's glory only. You forget about any glory from yourself. If you have your own glory, you don't have nothing from God. If you have a God's glory, you get everything from God. Okay. So that's why Jesus tells us, say, hey, listen. If you want to be my disciple, deny yourself. Don't be selfish. Don't be self-centered. Be selfless. You don't even exist. All you think about is other people. That's why Jesus is a good role model, because Jesus said, you only live for God's glory. His only purpose in this world is to fulfill God's plan. That's all it is. Am I right? So you should do the same thing. Okay? So let the teacher Elaine add some comment, please.
Yes, thank you, Teacher Ming. And let me ask all of you to stop your chat now. Not a single chat is needed. Please focus and practice active listening. This is very important learning while you're on the camp, or else your time is not well spent. So like Teacher Ming said, it's not just a big thing. Our life is made up of small things. And thank you everyone for accepting my suggestion. Thank you for stopping all the chat. In the future, please do the same. It's respect to the teacher. So life is not made up of just big things. A lot of times, my life is made up of small things, little things. So I really pay attention to little things, especially with people I love and spend most time, which will be my family. So I always encourage people around me and encourage ourselves to give our best attitude, the best smiley face, the best facial expression, the best tone of voice, and the best way of active listening to our family. Can we do that? That's part of this week's practice. How can we give our best active listening that Teacher Ming just told us to seek to understand with our family, starting with little things? So in the way we communicate that Teacher Ming said, I call them the 3 V's. The first V that's most dominant, almost 60%, is that visual. So once you look at someone's facial expression, you already have an idea how to connect with them. So your visual, your body language tells a lot. If your body language is like this, not showing interest and not respectful or being very closed, people already afraid to talk to you. So your facial expression is what people see first, and your body language, that's the first visual. And the second V is your voice. Is it loud, soft, fast talking, or slow talking, or boring? So all that, about 38% to be precise. And that's how people respond to you. And finally is your word, which is the verbal. Verbal, it's about 7%. So we still need to practice how well we can communicate with the words, and also pay attention to our voice, the tone, your pitch, your pace, and then your visual, the body language. So communication really is a powerful channel for us to build relationship. And Teacher Ming told us how we learn to communicate by expressing our interest, our curiosity when we talk to people, especially our family. Tell me more. That sounds interesting. What a good idea. Oh, I see. These are all good ways to practice active listening. That you are listening with your eyes, your ears, your heart, and you are digesting, you're acknowledging and responding to them. Very simple ways. So put in your homework this week on what you heard from Teacher Ming, what we share here. What things are you doing that help to improve your seeking to understand at home? Whether it's the deep listening, saying simple phrases like, oh, tell me more. Oh, good idea. That sounds like a good way to spend our time together. So how you acknowledge and respond to the family communication. So these are very small things, and yet it's going to go a long way building good, trusted, and respectful relationship. Thank you, Teacher Ming.
Very good. Thank you very much. So I just changed the homework. So let me start sharing again. Okay.
Okay. And we welcome anyone has comments or questions to ask that are meaningful, not about the caption, not about any other things that are not directly related to today's topic, and make your time meaningful and worthwhile. Thank you.
All right. Okay, here's the homework. I'm sorry. Share your learning with your parents and report the progress and result with your family. Okay.
Yeah.
You share with your parents and then wait a few days, or you can report your response from your parents.
Yeah.
And then wait for a few days. Did you see something change?
Yeah.
And did everybody attitude change? Relationship with each other is better? Okay. Go ahead. Do that. And that's the homework. All right.
We look forward to reading everyone's response. It's a very quote unquote simple and exciting homework. It's a benefit to bless your family and also
Pretty
share
fun.
ideas how you practice these listening and
Yeah,
seek to
amen.
understand. Thank you, Teacher
So,
Ming.
and then the teacher Yan will send you the Google link so you can see the PowerPoint file, okay, from this session. Well, I will upload it in probably 10 minutes after the session is closed. And then you can download it and you can share this PowerPoint file with your family and your parents. So I'm pretty sure the communication will improve a lot, okay, between you
Yes.
and your family and you and your friend and your teacher. Again, our purpose is to build you a successful Christian leader.
Amen.
Okay.
Caleb,
Thank you very
raise your
much.
hand. You have a
Yeah.
question, Caleb?
Could I see the homework
Yeah.
slide again?
Yes. Sure. Do you see it now? I enjoy meeting Caleb and his family when they came to San Diego and we had a nice meal
Very
together.
good.
Yeah, Caleb's very diligent. And we're learning from Caleb, who's a sixth grader.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Then I think we can have Elaine help us say the closing prayer.